Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Golden Shovel Wrestling Podcast, and tonight we're asking the big question of 2025. Was John Cena's heel run actually perfect?
We're talking, how it started, the highs and lows, the sudden face turn, and why his matches since then might actually be better off for it.
We're breaking down everything from 2025. What worked, what didn't, the sudden face turn, as Ross says, but why the last few months may have shown the reason that it worked. Let's go. So, all the way back at Elimination Chamber, Toronto, John Cena wins Elimination Chamber, becomes the number one contender to Cody Rhodes for that WWE Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania. At the end of the show, we have The Rock in the ring. For some reason, we have Travis Scott, and we have the two faces come together, they embrace, and then The Rock gives the signal. Ross, how did you feel about that at the time?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic because it's something that we have looked for from him for a long, long time. Back when, he was basically a one-man band in WWE, he had the company on his back. It was things were starting to get a little stale, and we wanted to see it at some point. Just give us a Cena heel run. And when the signal was made and his face changed, everyone kind of collectively went, oh shit, they're actually doing it. And the reaction was unbelievable.
I think the reason that it worked so well as an initial turn is that not only had we been calling for John Cena for 20 years to turn heel, there was, and there still is, calls for Cody Rhodes to also have a character change. And it was inevitable at one point in that feud, one of them would turn. And although I think if you ask most people, the preference may still have been Cody Rhodes, and we will come to that later in this video. The preference may still have been Cody Rhodes. It was perfect. It was unexpected. It was dramatic. The crowd were bought into it 100%. It set up WrestleMania to perfection. And ultimately, we had Corporate Rock as your TKO board member with your now corporate face of the organisation. And the story was there. John Cena was chasing the Never Seen 17. And the theory is that he took the insurance policy, The Rock, the guaranteed win. Now, after that initial turn, it's important that we look at the highs and the lows of heel John Cena. Ultimately, this is the bit where the lows far outweigh the highs. From a high perspective, his character work, his promos, the swagger, the energy that he brought was still the elite John Cena level character that we've come to know, love, respect, and watch week in, week out for the better part of 25 years. Unfortunately, the inconsistencies in the booking and the little bit of safety around the situation prevented a true heel run. Ultimately, and Paul Heyman's talked about this, that the crowd played their role, but ultimately, every city that the WWE visited knew this was the last time I am seeing my favourite wrestler in my city. It couldn't really get over as a John Cena doesn't like the crowd. These people could it.
Yeah, it was the tough sell, I think, especially because there was this level of hype around the fact that he turned heel in the first place before you even get into the parts of, but this is his retirement tour. Every time he's coming out, he's ticking down the clock. He's showing you how little time he's got left in the business. But it just goes to show you that's the level of the man, right? Like, it just, the people loved him regardless. And there's a few wrestlers that can do that. There aren't too many that even on heel runs will still get crazy amounts of cheers. So in a way, it's still a compliment to the man, but the run itself just couldn't really have came there. Like, it just was the timing a problem? Maybe. As much as the moment was great. Like if you compare it to Punk's heel run against Cena, for starters, guys like Edge, those are some like elite level heel turns and heel runs. He could have had this moment and been a bit more longevity if it just hadn't came when it did. Because other than the moment, it just didn't quite hit for a lot of people.
The obvious situation is we got off to an extremely slow start. Now, we had this segment with the young kid in Belgium, which did help because he destroyed that kid. But
that was very funny.
Very heelish. Ultimately, the big test was WrestleMania, and the fact is that match has been ceremoniously, unanimously, universally panned as extremely poor main event. Now, obviously, we've got the Never Seen 17 and John Cena breaks the record, but having a poor match really, really hampered the run and the turn for me anyway. But what kept it going, and this is the high for me, the low and the high, the continuing with the low, the fact that The Rock and Travis Scott then never got re-involved, there was always this talk of a stable, could The Rock be the one that's aligned with Heyman and Rollins? Could The Rock still try and gather his Avengers? Could he have this superstar team? Ultimately, it appeared that Travis Scott was done a favour by one of the higher-ups in TKO, who's a friend, by Ari Emanuel. And The Rock wasn't even on that. The Rock made the decision that he wasn't needed, which took away from the whole John Cena taking the insurance policy of guaranteeing the world title at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one high for me that always sat in the background. One high. And that was that The Rock in storyline had never hidden the fact that his first choice was Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. Cody Rhodes, I want your soul. And what kept me going was that there's a perfect chance for the double turn. You let Cena drop the title in the nice, controlled manner to the future face of the company, but potentially elevate Cody Rhodes to a new level as this corporate heel. That was always sitting there, and that didn't happen. And I think that's when it started to lose its energy as a run. Mm-hmm. You ran out of story when you realised that The Rock wasn't getting involved, where there was not going to be Cody's souls going to be in the line or whatever else was it. The payoff just was never going to be there, which takes us into the world's most ridiculous sudden face turn, where John Cena just turns up on a SmackDown the night before SummerSlam and says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I was a dick." Thoughts?
It was really, really interesting to me how they did this at the time, because when he came out to SmackDown and he did that, there was still some question marks post-show. I remember discussing with you after it, but was there not like a Saturday night main event at the same time, or the Monday Night Raw obviously was a few days after? We still had some question marks about, right, but did he actually turn face again? And then was it social media? Was that the thing that ended up then actually stapling it as, oh, right, okay, he has turned face? And then his music changed back, and suddenly all was well again with the world. It was very abrupt.
So you had
in hindsight, it might have worked,
So you have the obvious actions speak louder than words, and the face turn was just words on a Friday Night SmackDown. There was no action. The action came the next night, SummerSlam, where he comes out in the black and white, and then do hits, and boom, the colour explodes, and 80,000 people inside MetLife just go absolutely batshit crazy, including all of us at home. The reason for this video is coming. The reason the face turn worked and is interesting is the opposite, fun enough, as to why the heel turn didn't. The heel turn moment was much better executed. The actual moment where he turned heel and turned on Cody Rhodes in the line with The Rock was absolute cinema. We loved it as wrestling fans. The face turn made zero sense. It was not confusing. sorry, it was too confusing. It was like, is he actually turning face? We understood the whole, I want your best, Cody, and I'm giving you my best, and the best John Cena is Make-A-Wish, everybody's favourite, you can't see me, John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we gravitate to this turn so much? Because they went out there on that Sunday night and they delivered an absolute barn burner of a match.
Oh, it was
Arguably
so
one of the greatest matches, and certainly in my time as a WWE wrestling fan. I love John Cena. He is my favourite, but these guys just left it all out there. They gave us a 30-minute absolute. And part of that was personal. Part of them was them saying, we're going to go out and show you, yes, we got it wrong at WrestleMania. That meant it worked, because that meant that the statement where John Cena said, if you want the best John Cena, you need Make-A-Wish, everybody's best pal John Cena. We gave us that, and we then got one of the best matches that John Cena's ever put on. So the immediate driving home follow-up of the turn sold it, versus the great moment in February, but the follow-up just being so weak.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. I feel like actions always do speak louder than words. I think that's like a sentiment and a statement that rings true everywhere. When they went out and did that, and then the bell rings at the end, I think we all collectively went, right, fine. Now, at the time, we didn't actually know what was coming next. We all had ideas in our heads of what could have came next, but we were still kind of in awe in what we had just witnessed. What they then were able to do post that match, I personally think is just as, even if not more impressive than what they actually pulled off then.
And that is the reason why we've made this video and discussion point tonight, to go out. John Cena couldn't have been a heel for the entire year. John Cena couldn't have had a 12-month face farewell tour either, because we would have got stale on board. However, what has happened is we have had 6, 7, 8 weeks now, few months, of complete fan service from John Cena's opponents. We've had a really, really good match. Sorry, a great match with Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. A good match with Logan Paul in Paris, where they both pulled off some tributes to other wrestlers that have paved the way and supported them. Noting even things like the End of Days with Baron Corbin. We've had a great match from Cena with Sami Zayn, which kicked off a new US Open challenge and also started off another round of tributes, leading all the way through to what happened just at the weekend there, with a match with AJ Styles, which I have not had the fact that is the match I wanted to see from day one. The reason, well, I think there's something like 11 or 12 tributes paid to other wrestlers, and of course the one that stands out is Bray Wyatt, as well as John Cena writing an introduction for AJ Styles. So I feel like this is the farewell tour Cena that I wanted. But Ross, this wouldn't have worked had it started in January and tried to stretch fan service for 12 months, would it?
Yeah, it would have been tricky. I feel like if you're going to do what they've went for here, which is like a greatest hits run, where, yes, he's still winning by and large all those matches, but people that he's going up against, because he's putting on good matches, they are still in effect being put over to a degree. I don't know how they could have. I mean, how many would they have had to have sold to make that work? Like, would they have had to have done twice as many as these to probably kind of balance it out with the amount of dates that they would have had at the beginning if they just went with this instead of the heel run? I'm not sure if it would have worked. And also, he says, I know that we do love, putting on a good match is what can be enough. Sometimes it's something that we talk about a lot on the Golden Shovel. But there would be a line where you're like, right, okay. Whereas now, at time of recording, we have 4 dates remaining. That's just the sweet spot. That is just the sweet spot where this can be wrapped up and you can put a little bow on it and potentially say that it could be one of the greatest one-year stretches that any wrestler has ever went through, purely for the roller coaster that we've been taken on with them.
4 dates, all matches, no filler, no fluff. we're sitting here 4 dates to go, and we don't even know any of the matches, never mind the last match.
Mhm.
And that's something that we all did not expect. We would have expected it to roughly have worked out by now. There is talks of a tournament to crown a winner. There's talks of Gunther. There's talks of a Dom Mysterio bit in there. I think everybody's hoping that we see him win the IC title just to tick that Grand Slam box off.
Absolutely.
It's a very safe way to take it from Dom as well,
Mhm.
if you want to move on from that. Something we can get into in the weekly podcast, which drops every Wednesday, guys. You can join us in the usual places for that. But was the heel run perfect? No. The turn was good. The promos and John Cena's work was good, but the inability to drive it home with a good match at WrestleMania really hampered it, and that meant it was in a back foot. The lack of follow-up from The Rock and others, the lack of payoff with him really wanting Cody and potentially a double turn, etc. But the fact is, most of the people that we deal with or we talk to on a regular basis regarding John Cena and professional wrestling wanted the hits.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the hits, we're getting fan service, we're getting a tribute. We are seeing crowds show so much respect and love to John Cena and his opponents. The adulation for John Cena and AJ Styles at the weekend was exactly what I wanted to see. I've never been so happy in my entire life watching wrestling. But what it did, it just bought them time. I don't think this was the plan from the start. I think this is a happy coincidence post SummerSlam. But because he's got so few dates left and he's worked his full-time schedule early in the year, it means it's working now, where he can just have one-off matches with people, do some fan service and move on. He doesn't need to be there building the matches all week, every week.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is, John Cena is a PR machine. He is a merchandise selling machine. He saw Australia at the weekend. The minions, the yellow t-shirts everywhere
So
in that
many.
arena. It was so many I thought they were giving them out for free. That's how big it was. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the heel run was brilliant. I'm not going to say it was perfect. If asked the question, was it perfect? No. But is it given us what we want at the end of it? Is Triple H probably going to take credit for it at some point? Yes.
Or us.
Did John Cena really go into business for himself? Or
maybe
are we just going to get a bit of fun? Professional wrestling is supposed to make us feel things. And we just feel happy watching the greatest wrestler of all time sign off his career against the opponents that he wants to and the opponents that we want to see him wrestle against. Final thoughts, Ross?
I guess my final thoughts would be that I think the right idea, wrong execution is probably where we kind of land on, but ultimately set us up nicely. The one I'm actually going to end with a question for you and then a question for the listeners. Do you think this could have gone differently again if they'd done the heel turn, but then the Mania match was a banger? What would you think? What do you think we could have been looking at this time, middle of October, 4 dates left? What would the run have looked like had that one match, that 30 minutes just been so different?
Could they have gotten it over better? Yes. Would it have been massively different? I'm going to have to go with no. And the reason for that is I know I missed the Glasgow show this year. I am not paying 120 quid to boo John Cena. It's not happening. And some people have done it, but the answer's no. I just want to sit there, wear my John Cena t-shirt and smile. I mean, I didn't hide the fact that I almost had flights to Boston booked, and then they moved it to DC anyway. I wanted to go. I still do. I'm still not ready for what's going to happen in 4 days' time. And I'm going to just segue into a question for the viewers. Let us know your thoughts on the heel run. Let us know if it's something that you can tolerate, because we're now getting this beautiful farewell tour with lots of nostalgia and lots of fan service. But also let us know, 4 dates to go, how would you book those 4 dates? Who do you want to see and why? And does it actually matter who gets the last day? Does John Cena go out on his back, or does John Cena get with a win? Take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.